Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Savanna Rose. I make videos about living the brightest life you can, starting with what you have right now. And oh my freaking goodness, it has been a long time since I've made a video, which is perfect for this topic, which is going to be the 10 things that have helped to bring me back to myself since my life got a little chaotic. If you're anything like I've been over the past couple of months and you're starting to kind of lose your way and really just want to realign yourself with your highest self, but you're having a really hard time getting there, these 10 things are going to help you. You can do just about all of these things, no matter what you believe in, at just about any time of day, except for like yoga. You can't really do yoga at work if you work at like McDonald's, I don't know. So we'll just jump into it with number one, which is always, always, always put yourself and your highest path first in your life. There are going to be so many things that try to pop up and take you off your path, take you out of your element, and you need to remember that you come first before absolutely anything else, anyone else in your life. Yes, you need to prioritize others, and no, this doesn't mean be entirely selfish and just don't care about other people or your responsibilities. However, you do need to make sure that you're coming first and that you are listening to right here as well as here, because if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, if you don't feel passionate about where you are in your life, you're going to derail it and then end up in a bad spot anyways. So you need to be checking in with yourself on a consistent basis to make sure that you and your highest self are on the same page. 2, yoga and meditation. I personally love doing yoga for the mind, body, and spirit benefits. I love the way that it calms me. I feel very centered after I've done my yoga practice, as opposed to a day where I don't do it. I am very scatterbrained and I can't seem to get my energy under control. But even living in a crazy household with a ton of people and 2 children, which I'm not used to living with, I recently moved in with my family, I absolutely need to be doing my morning yoga and meditation in order to be a functional and pleasant being to be around. When I first got into yoga, I was watching a lot of Yoga with Adrienne, and she's a great resource. She does a lot of, I think, very beginner-oriented yoga, so I will leave that down in the description below, as well as my recent person, which has been Boho Beautiful. I absolutely love all of her stuff. I feel like her beginner stuff is still kind of intermediate, though, in terms of energy, and the warrior poses are kind of hard to hold if you're not used to doing things like that. Like, my inner thigh strength is not that strong still, but she has a lot of really great beginner to advanced classes, and I just love her energy, so check her out if you're looking to do some yoga. And meditation, I often do my meditation at the end of my yoga, like when you're laying there in Shavasana or when you come back up to center. I like to sit there and just really soak in the benefits of my practice and also come back to myself and my intention that I set at the beginning of my practice. If I'm doing otherwise meditation, I'm either listening to a frequency on like a Spotify playlist, or I recently have been doing a guided meditation by Bob Proctor, which I will also leave down in the description below. It is for abundance, and I did it this morning and I freaking cried. It's a 20-minute long meditation. I highly recommend it. I'm not kidding, I cried this morning when I did it. Number 3 has been limiting usage of social media. Now, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I do post semi-frequently on there, and I've been doing a lot of trends for a while now. I am moving away from doing trends and doing more of my own creation and my own lessons that I've learned that I want to share, and story times and spiritual tips and whatnot. But I had spent a lot of time scrolling looking for trends so that I could raise my content to the top, and all it was really getting me was the same thing every day. It was just similar engagement, and I didn't feel authentic. I wasn't being my authentic self. So I've cut down my time so that I can mostly just find like some trends and some songs, but otherwise I do not go on social media. I don't scroll through Instagram. I don't do that because it's not good for me. It's not good for my spirit. I mean, there have been days when I was really bad and I was depressed where I was scrolling through TikTok for like 2 to 3 hours out of my day. And when I realized the extent to which I had gotten there, I just was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. We need to cut this out, which also led to me creating more authentic content, which is bringing more value anyway. Number 4, get outside. I have been cooped up in the house for the past couple of months because I just moved to New York, and I have been kind of anxious about getting out. I also don't have a car, seeing as I'm still in the process of selling my van and there's no insurance on it right now. So I haven't had a car. I've had to borrow my mom's car, and we live in a very small town. So other than this park that I discovered very recently and I'm absolutely in love with, there isn't really all that much to do immediately around me, and so I've been depressed and I've just hidden inside. But no, don't do that. Ever since I've started coming out to this park just about every single day to meditate, to do yoga, to do my journaling, I have felt so much more connected with myself and so much more motivated. I got up early this morning, which I have been trying to convince myself to do for quite some time now, and I plan to be making that a routine for myself. So getting outside, re-grounding yourself, smelling the fresh air. I'm right next to a part of the Hudson River, which is not the most beautiful water in the world. However, it is really nice to see flowing water, especially living in Texas where I didn't really see that all that often. It's nice. Number 5, crystal healing. Yes, I am indeed a crystal girl. I actually recently got a job at a crystal shop part-time, so you know that I'm serious about it. The amount of crystals I have on me right now is kind of ridiculous. I have soapstone, moldavite, moonstone, rose quartz, malachite, aventurine, flower agate, and unakite. Some of my favorites, absolutely not even close to all of my crystals. As well as, I forgot, my chrysocolla, my unakite bracelet, because unakite is my favorite, as well as chrysocolla, and my howlite. And my labradorite, which I'm obsessed with. Learning which crystals to work with and what they're for and all of that was completely lost on me literally a couple months. At the beginning of this year, I had no freaking idea, no clue. And my mom bought me a crystal starter set and a crystal book for beginners. And I had already had a collection because people had been buying me crystals for years because I'm a spiritual person and they assume, oh, crystals. But my collection has grown significantly because I got really interested in it, and my mom got me that crystal beginner set, and then for my birthday I got another crystal beginner set from somebody, except it was a really nice one and there were really cool crystals in there. Anyway, I encourage you to do your own research on it. I will be making some videos on this channel about crystals, but for now I will just say doing some research and looking into them and seeing what calls out to you, because working with crystals intuitively has been an amazing tool for me that has honestly proven invaluable. Even if they are just pretty rocks, y'all, these pretty rocks make me feel pretty freaking good and reconnected with myself, so I'm gonna keep using them. And I used to be a skeptic, so I recommend you looking into them and doing your own research as well. Number 6 has been reaching out to people even when I really don't freaking want to. When I had first moved here, I was in a funk, to say the least. I did not want to move here, but mostly the circumstances under which I moved here were not the best, and I don't really know anybody around here. So what I tend to do is I tend to self-isolate, which includes not calling anybody, not texting anybody, not reaching out to anybody, saying I'll send letters, but then I never write or send any letters. And it has proven invaluable to me to, you know, if I'm going for a walk with my dog, call somebody, reach out to a family member, reach out to one of my friends, and just reconnect with people when I feel down. Ask for help when I need somebody to yank me out of my freaking pits. One of my best friends has been very important in this development. Every time I start to really lose my freaking mind, it seems like, he's like, yo, do your yoga, meditate, you know it's gonna make you feel better, so you need to just go freaking do it. And he will take my phone calls any time of day, no matter how stupid the thing that I want to talk about is, or how seemingly stupid, because it's not ever stupid, obviously, if you care about it enough to talk about it, especially at like 4 in the morning. Picking up the phone and calling people, it's been super important. Number 7, value my passions over what I think is gonna get me success. So for the longest time, I had been thinking about what makes me passionate, which I love content creating and I love self-help, I love spirituality, but I was trying to fit myself into a specific, like, I'm a witch, or I'm a self-help person, or I'm a this or that, just because I was convinced that if I align myself into this perfect little slot, then I would become successful. But all that's done is made me very much so less passionate about the things that I'm making content about, and therefore I don't actually want to continue making any content about it. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I took a break from YouTube, so I could really figure out who I wanted to be and what I wanted to talk about. And like I've said, since I've shifted away from trendy TikTok videos, I get more engagement, and it's not even just that I get more engagement, I get more engagement I actually care about, because people are actually listening to the things that I like to talk about and I like to share. Now I'm sharing my poetry, I'm sharing my spiritual journey stories, and I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. And I think that's super important for coming back to yourself, is being yourself and accepting who you are and what you love. Number 8, taking time to create just to create. Like I said before, I was so fixated on turning my passions and my hobbies into something that would make me successful that I started to dilute my passions to the point where I didn't even really enjoy creating as much as I had used to. When I published my book, I did all of the illustrations other than the cover art by myself. I wrote all of the poems, I edited all the poems. I spent so much time putting together that book, and I was also making TikToks on the side that I liked making, and I was just being creative for the sake of being creative. And when I started to fixate on what I wanted from it, not what I wanted to do and what I wanted to contribute to the world, but what I wanted from it, it took away from that. I didn't feel that satisfaction from doing it anymore. So I used to love to draw, and I used to love to paint and crochet. Recently, I've come back to all of those passions, including making videos, because I realized that I was just doing it the wrong way. So always do things because you're passionate about them. Don't try to turn it into something that it's not, or turn yourself into something that you're not, just so that you can get the outcome you think you need. Number 9, which my Taurus and Aries stubborn bullheaded ass does not want to admit, is that I have had a lot of selfish tendencies over the past couple of years that I have welcomed into my character because of the things that I had gone through and the trauma that I had lived through, particularly regarding a situation with my dad. We still do not have a great relationship, but because of this, I had to move out of his house very abruptly and retreat to myself. I had to look after myself. I was doing 2 jobs for a while and constantly just doing what I was doing me. I wasn't paying attention to anyone around me. I wasn't trying to give any of my energy to anyone because I was recovering from this. It felt like it was a very massive betrayal. You gotta validate the way I feel. Since moving and living in a household of people again, as opposed to, living with my roommate who did his own thing, I did my own thing, is I'm learning that I'm still selfish, which is still hard for me to admit. However, I am working on it more, and I'm doing more to help, and I'm trying to be a little bit less selfless. And it is not always easy, I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not perfect at doing chores, I'm not perfect at cleaning up after myself. I really try to be the best house guest and family member that I can be. However, sometimes that can just be difficult when it is not what I'm used to, but I'm trying, I'm learning. And number 10, learning to say no, which might seem to contradict the first thing that I just said, but listen, there is a difference between being selfless and just giving all of yourself. There are some days where I give, and then I'm like, nope, I need to take today, I need to do me, I need to focus on myself. And there are some weeks where I just don't have that much energy and I don't give that much of myself. And part of that is definitely coming from those selfish tendencies, but part of it is also coming from that self-preservation, trying to be there for myself when I need to be there for myself, when I need someone there for me, and I am the best person to be there for me. And a big part of this is accepting that. Accepting when you need to say no, including to your passions, including to the things that you want to work on and do. I've been trying to get on myself to start making these videos and to get myself out there for the longest time since 2021 has started. But I went through a lot, and I had to acknowledge and accept that I needed time to grow and heal so I could get to the point where I can sit in front of here making a video and I feel good about it, as opposed to feeling forced or feeling like it was inauthentic or it wasn't me. It took a long time for me to realize what I wanted and who I wanted to be for myself and for you. And I think that the time I spent cultivating that was very well worth it. There's about to be a train coming, so I have to wrap this up, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you've found some things that'll help you to come back to yourself. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, comment some things if you got any suggestions, any questions, any things that have helped you to come back to yourself, and press that subscribe button so that you can receive updates every time I post a video. Have a fantastic rest of your day, your week, your month, your existence. I can't wait to catch up with you guys next time. Bye guys.